These are my League of Legends hot takes, and yes, this will be controversial. According to a post made by Reddit user Johnny Bullet, he did a poll to see who was the most attractive female character in League, and Ahri won the most votes, which is not accurate at all in my opinion, because the most attractive female is clearly Rek'Sai. If Rek'Sai existed in real life, I would totally go in all of her tunnels. Also, Miss Fortune doesn't deserve second place. Senna deserves second place. Forfeiting should not end the game unless all 5 people on a team decide to forfeit. If 5 people on a team need to accept for a match to start, then 5 people should need to agree to forfeit for the match to end. If it is a ranked match, I really wish Riot Games would at the very least have the player who voted no to forfeiting lose less LP than the people who wanted to forfeit. The people who play late game champions and then immediately start spamming FF if the game is not going well deserves to never play a late game champion again. I think every champion should be jungle viable. Jungle is by far the most hated role in the game, and even the people that main jungle also tend to dislike maining jungle. If every champion was viable in the jungle, I think it would make the role way more popular, and it would do a huge meta shift that we have never seen before, and I think that would be really fun. Okay, maybe it's just me, but whenever I see people use this League of Legends icon, I feel like they are the most emotional people in the League of Legends community. I genuinely miss Nemisis Draft. Nemisis Draft was a mode that was released a long time ago, where the mode was, instead of drafting yourself, you actually draft for your opponents, your nemesis. So you can just give your opponent / nemesis awful champions or an awful team comp, and they can do the same to you. However, I do totally understand why people hated this mode, and I understand why Riot said they will never release this mode again. Ranked modes should be disabled whenever Clash is available. People can survive without solo queue or ranked flex for 1 week and night every 2 months. I also think it would encourage more people to want to play Clash, therefore making Clash more exciting because there will be more players, and more players means more fair and balanced Clash events. I think one-tricking a champion to a certain rank is not that impressive, and I think if Riot designed solo queue to where no one can play the same champion 2 games in a row, it would be super interesting. I also think it would show out players' true skill because they would need a bigger champion pool to truly climb in ranked. 3 years ago, Reddit user Cardinals1392 did a vote on Reddit on what the best skin in League of Legends was, and the entire voting system overall had 312,969 votes. Corporate Mundo won the vote for the best skin. While Corporate Mundo is certainly up there for the best skin in the game, the clear best skin in the game is Shamrock Malphite, and anyone who disagrees is absolutely wrong. Ranked ARAM would absolutely kill ARAM. I think ARAM is a very fun mode, but I know that if Riot ever made Ranked ARAM, people would make Reddit post after Reddit post complaining how they had 3 games in a row where their team did not roll a tank, or roll an ADC, or roll a mage, or something like that. Plus, if everyone out there took ARAM seriously, there would be people that would just macro the living crap out of it. And then everyone would know some type of cheesy strat that would instantly make ARAM super unfun. If you like competitive ARAM events, I'd highly suggest looking into playing community-run ARAM tournaments rather than encourage Riot Games to make the ranked ARAM mode. I think the previous iteration we had of an honor system was cooler than the one we currently have. A while ago, you would have 3 options to give someone an honor: stayed cool, great shot calling, or GG less than 3. Each honor had its own meaning, and I personally gave these honors to people for specific moments, and I wish they still had this feature, and also kept track of what honors each player gets throughout a season. The honors just felt more meaningful when you can be more specific on what you liked about the honorable person. League of Legends is not that toxic. Now, I will admit, I do not grind ranked, but from my experience, most players are not that toxic. And the players who are toxic typically are just miserable people in general, and just look to take it out on anyone around them. I also think there are a lot of super sensitive people in the League of Legends community that get hurt by players flaming. Therefore, the more sensitive a person is, the more toxic the community will seem. Now, I'm not defending toxicity. I'm actually a pretty sensitive guy myself. I just think that some words people say are not that serious. And there are people that will claim that League of Legends is the most toxic game there is, but I personally disagree. In my opinion, the most toxic game that exists is Apex Legends. Playing normal non-ranked games in Apex Legends, people leave way too often, they rage quit so fast. In ranked mode, people have mics but will never use them unless they yell at you for not doing exactly what they expect you to be doing, and they are always whining on the mic. And professional Apex players are super toxic, and behavior-wise, most of the pros are very unprofessional. I think Yuumi is healthy for the game. League of Legends is an incredibly complicated game, and I have a YouTube series I just started posting about me coaching a friend who has never played League of Legends before, and coaching him has truly made me realize just how shockingly complicated this game is. People have been playing League for years, and there's so many little things we just naturally do and do not even think about. I think having a champion that just attaches to someone else and can click Q and E is very useful for a player who has no idea what is happening on their screen. Arcane is not that great. Now, Season 1 on its own of Arcane was perfect. There is not a single thing I would change about it. However, in Season 2, it sort of ruined Arcane as a whole for me. I felt like the Season 2 storyline was super rushed, felt like everything moved way too fast, and some of the character development made me really dislike some of the characters. And I felt like they could have done a lot more to the story to really shock the audience. I'm not saying that Arcane as a whole is bad. I still think it's pretty good. I think the animation's amazing. I think the voice acting is top-notch. I just really value a good story, and I think the story was a bit lackluster in Season 2, and I think people overhype Arcane. The worst skin in the game is Firecracker Vayne. It's a good skin, but it has a huge flaw. Vayne's quote-unquote breast piece looks exactly like a pistachio. And every time I see it, I just get hungry and all I can think about is how badly I want nuts in my mouth. Ranked Flex should be taken just as seriously as solo queue. I really do not understand how Flex got to the point of people saying, it's just Flex, it doesn't matter. But in my opinion, if a mode has the title Ranked in it, it should be taken seriously. I believe the most difficult champion in the game is Kind Red. Kind Red is the most difficult champion to play because anyone who knows how to play against Kind Red will make the Kind Red's life miserable. With Kind Red, you need to get stacks, and in order to get stacks, you need to risk going into the enemy jungle and securing a camp. So you're constantly forced into a dangerous spot. Or you get stacks by marking an enemy, but that enemy knows that you marked them, which means they can just play safe and make sure you do not get your mark. Playing a game and getting 0 marks is so frustrating. You also need to be good at kiting, and if you do not have stacks, it makes it even harder to kite, because you will have less attack speed on your Q, and your range will also be shorter. Also, Kind Red ult could certainly help your team, but can royally screw over your team as well. The most underrated item is Umbral Glaive. I will admit that this item is situational, but this item is also super cheap. It can help you destroy wards, and more importantly, it can help you destroy traps, which is really good. I can't believe more people do not build this item if they're against a Teemo or a Shaco. It hard counters them. And if it's too late in the game and you want to buy a better item, it is one of the few items in the game that you can actually make gold from. So by the time that you get to late game, you might have gotten a couple hundred gold and could sell it for a better item if you desperately need it later. The most overrated item is Rapid Fire Cannon. I just feel like the stats are not that great on it, and the bonus range you rarely feel in the moment of a team fight. The only time I might consider Rapid Fire Cannon being decent is on a late game Senna, or a Smolder if you have 225 stacks of the Execute feature. Otherwise, I think Rapid Fire Cannon is pretty bad. I want Riot to release a new champion who can use an ally's ult. I do not think it would be balanced whatsoever, but just imagine comboing ults with your ally. Imagine 2 Ashe arrow snipes across the map, or 2 Maokai ultimates used at the same time, or 2 Urgot ultimates. Imagine playing tug of war with your teammate using an enemy's corpse as a rope. Again, probably not balanced, but man, that would be incredibly fun. A League of Legends player's rank is a terrible way to judge a player's skill. I am so passionate about this hot take that I actually made a whole video discussing this. So if you want to see why I think ranked is a terrible way to judge a player's skill, then I would highly suggest checking out the video down in the description. And make sure to leave your hot takes down in the comments. I would love to see what you guys think about League of Legends. That's controversial.